Oh, all right. We're gonna try this out. Hello. Sorry about that, guys. My computer all of a sudden decided that it was gonna stop communicating with Zoom. It was very odd. So I've been sitting here for the past like 10 minutes trying to figure out what is happening. I was like, what's happening? What's going on? First, like it wouldn't let me log into Zoom, and then it wouldn't let me start the meeting, and then my camera didn't work. So then I had to like quit Zoom. I had to reopen it, and then Zoom wouldn't open. It was a whole thing. So, hi, thanks for hanging out with me for a little bit. I'm real excited to start today. So yeah, right, Kate? Clearly, what am I projecting? Um, Probably that I'm a little tired today, but it's all good. Um, yeah, technology, right? So yeah, you're so funny, Diana. Am I just gonna coach myself today? Anyway, hi, welcome. I'm so glad you're all here. So, if you would like to be coached today, go ahead and type into the chat what you would like to be coached on. And I'll give you a couple minutes to do so. Um, okay. Oh my gosh, can you guys believe it's already September? That's crazy. Oh, sorry, Terry. A couple minutes to if you want to be coached to type into the chat anything you'd like to be coached on. Hmm. Ilka, it was sent to you if you got my message. It's in your channel. It's in the Activate alumni channel. Alrighty. That's fun, Sarah. Real interesting. Okay. Fair enough. Yep, that definitely happens, Sarah. Okay. All right. Ooh, making it hard today. Oh, that's hilarious, Kate. Cat's like, me too. All right, all right. Let's see. Making it hard on me today, guys, in the best way possible. Okay. Let's Sarah, I'm real interested in this double bind you got going on. So let's work on that.
There we go.
Hi.
Hi. This is apparently what I need to be learning right now. So many things about relationships.
I love it. I love that. Um, yes. Okay. So tell me about this.
You told me the last time I got coached here, which wasn't too long ago. So I'm really surprised you picked me. But was to journal on like the pros and cons on being alone and that I need to become the not me, which is like I'm fearing being alone. All the things that I had tried before, don't like to be alone.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I realized so I had been thinking about that, and I think that what I realized was it's not safe for me to be alone. Like I have tried to make plans based on goes back to the aging thing, um, that like somebody needs to check in on me to make sure that my cats haven't eaten my face because I died in the night, and like what's my level of decomposition before someone notices that I'm gone. And so like um so it's not safe to be alone because I can't like I went to the ER earlier this year and there was no one to drive me. So delirious as I was with fever, I drove myself. Um and so like it was that feeling of like I have to, even when I'm not even not at my best, but when I'm at my worst, I still have to figure out how to do it on my own. And so it's not safe. I will end up in a ditch, I will end up dead, I will end up um financially destitute, and that's the other thing that I have a friend who is sometimes willing to help me with some things financially, and I'm like, oh well, if I didn't have him, oh no, I'm unsafe. And so and a lot of that has looking long term forward, um what do I do when I can't live alone and I can't afford a nursing home? So um things like that. So plus there's other health issues now that I'm dealing with that I'm like, that's that isn't not a nursing home, but like long-term care is a possibility and I can't afford it. So what do I do? So anyways, there's that. So alone is unsafe. Transfer to the other side. What do I want in community? My idea was I want community because if I put enough people around me, they can't all go away at the same time because everyone goes away. Good things go away. People go away. They die, they learn to hate you, they find someone else they like better and go away. Um, so relationships are unsafe because there's no guarantee that they aren't going to die. Um, or or that's the big one, but that they aren't going to find a reason to not want to be with you. They're not gonna, if you're not the chosen one, if they're not, if you're not the person who they choose someone else. you know they go get married, they go date, they go find someone else. You're not, as a friend, you're not safe. And I realized that you're not safe in marriage too. Got an ex. So like that's also a thing. So I realize that there's no guarantees, but it's always like I can't figure out where the security is, um because they're both unsafe.
I'm So what would you like to have at the end of this call today?
Safety.
No, okay. I was gonna say, knowing that we're not necessarily releasing anything, right? We're just, so
Yeah.
where would you like to be at the end of
I
today?
would like I would like I I feel like this is a pattern of my life that I find myself in these places where I go, this, nope. Okay, well, how about this? Nope. And then I get ping ponged back and forth. And like at the moment, it's the alone in the relationship that is the ping pong. Um, You know, I know that when I went through Activate the first time, it was not wanting to be invisible and wanting to be seen. You know, like it's not safe to be seen, it's not safe to be invisible. So like now I'm just on to this one, I guess.
So where would you like to
Oh,
be at the
where
end
would
of
I
this
like to
call?
be? Yes, you asked that question. Where would I like? I would like to if I had some measure of like, here's another thing for you to work on in terms of either more self-discovery so that you could have the release that you need so that I could figure out what the releases needed to be. Um, that would be a great path forward, I feel like.
Okay.
Just if I could awareness around this. I feel like I have a lot of awareness. And yet there's just something that's either I'm not aware or something is in my way and I just don't know what it is. And I would like to discover what that is, if possible.
Perfect. All right. Sounds good.
In an hour, Isabel, go.
I know, right? I'm like, really? I got like 45 minutes max.
45 minutes. Chop, chop.
You're
Okay. I'm not going to use humor as a mask. I'm going to try.
good.
Okay.
All good. Okay. So what's your definition of security?
Safe, to be safe, which you're going to ask me what my definition of safe is. So, that someone has my back,
Is this
that
safe or secure?
I'm not alone in decision making, that there's other wise people helping. Like I'm not just really, relying on my brain. um Safety is having things to try and then an acceptance when you know that that's the last thing that can happen. Like that's what death is becoming accepting of like you've tried all the other things and now you go into that. And sometimes like death comes before you have a chance to actually do all the things. And I think safety is not having the chance, not being safe is not having the chance to try all the things before something gets ripped away. Blindsided comes to mind. Those are not very good definitions.
They're your definitions.
I mean, at the moment, I'm just saying
For
words.
now. For now. Okay. So what is it like inside your body, Sarah? Do you ever hang out in there?
The big empty, not empty in a bad way, but it's like it's like space.
Mm-hmm.
It's space.
Okay, so it's a big space. Anything else?
What are my options?
Everything.
Multiple choice.
Yeah, this is open
Open-ended
response.
questions.
Yeah, it's open.
Inside, it feels like just a blank, dark space. And it's not dark like in a bad way. It's just dark. It's dark as opposed to light. Um,
Okay.
it's kind of comforting, but sometimes it's kind of like I also go, shouldn't there be other things here? Like, you know, I watch Inside Out, there's like little colorful people and things like that. And I just wonder if I should have those.
Emotions?
I have emotions. They just all are in this dark space. I don't have little people that are like, ooh,
I was like, yeah,
ooh.
okay.
I don't know, somebody just asked me the other day, this is so interesting you asked me this. Somebody asked me the other day if my body believed in Jesus, because I was talking about my existential faith crisis. And I was like, I got to think about that. So, anyways, just so interesting. You're like, what's it like inside your body?
Yes. Okay. Well, the reason I ask is there's there's something about other people, right? It's either the absence of other people or the presence leading to the absence of other people. So I'm like curious who the first person whoever left you was yourself. And so I just want to know what it's like hanging out in your body. So
I
it's a
mean, I
big
don't mind
thing.
spending time by myself. That's not a problem.
No, it's the leaving.
Oh, so leaving. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And I think we had talked, I believe we talked about this the last time. We had talked about the alone and all of that stuff, where it's the alone itself isn't the problem. It's the feeling like there's no choice in it.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Because same thing now here with the relationships, right? It's like, well, there's no guarantee they'll stay. They'll leave, they'll die, they'll what was it that you said? Like learn to hate you. So
Yeah.
it's the feeling like you have no choice in the company or lack thereof.
Yeah. Beggars can't be choosers.
Okay, so who was the first person who ever left you, or you felt like you didn't have a choice, if you were to know?
No one's is th- this is the weird things. No one's ever left me. I've done the leaving. I was the one who left my ex.
Hmm.
And before that, like, I mean, I could, but no, I could come up with a few things. Like I was a latchkey kid. I was, um, I got lost and, and so mom wasn't there, oh, scary. I'm in the mall by myself as a 4-year-old, but like, that's not leaving. That's, getting separated or whatever. So I don't know.
Okay. Growing up, was there anybody close to you? It didn't necessarily have to be a family member. Was there anybody close to you who passed?
I went to a million funerals, but most of them were not people that I knew real well. It's just the way I was born in the age range. Like I was always being carted off to um, various and sundry old people's funerals that were somehow related to me. I think the first person that passed that meant anything that was like my grandmother. Well, my first vivid memory is my grandmother's funeral when I was 3. Um, but I wasn't close to her. But then my other grandmother died when I was 11, and she was the only grandparent I knew.
Okay.
And I think she was, I mean, I don't know. I see other people and they're much closer to their grandparents than I ever was. We are not a close knit family. We're German Lutherans. I don't, we don't show emotion.
Okay, so your first vivid memory being your grandmother's funeral at 3, even though you weren't necessarily close or didn't know her.
Mhm.
What was the that like on your family? Was that hard on them, like your parents?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I assume it was. It's a mom. It's my mom's mom. Apparently, I don't remember this, but my mom told me that I ran around and told everybody that Granny was in her heaven box because that was how mom explained it to me, was that Granny was gonna go to heaven now. Um, in her heaven box. And but what I remember of the funeral was just looking up at the casket and wondering why there was such creepy shapes and shadows, because they used that like dim lighting that was kind of that reddish pink back in the 80s. You weren't alive, but actually that was in the 70s. Oh dear God. And like, it kind of cast these weird shadows on these like flower arrangements, and I was always like, I found that very creepy. But it wasn't creeped out about her being dead.
Okay. So I'm kind of like going through all your different scenarios where it's like they could leave me, they could die, they could hate me. So I'm gonna start going through all the rest of these. So I just want to cover all the bases here. Okay. So when your other grandma passed, which I'm assuming is now your paternal grandmother,
Yeah.
you were 11. Irrelevant the age. I just want to know like what effect did that have on you?
I guess I felt kind of separate because like nobody else didn't have grandparents. Everybody else had grandparents. Some of them had great grandparents, and I just didn't understand how like my family just, you know, like there wasn't anything. Um and so it felt very like I didn't know how to re- like relate. Um And I was also kind of mad at my folks because I really wanted to say goodbye to grandma like in the hospital, and they wouldn't let me go see her. And I'm assuming, she was probably very frail looking and very sick and, tubes everywhere. And so they probably um, were protecting me from that. But I don't know. I guess I'm kind of like, I've seen dead things. I grew up on a farm or out in the woods, like this is not a problem. So I think I wish they had like allowed me that choice.
What's important to you about choice?
Well, in the instance of saying goodbye to someone, it's the chance to actually kind of have that closure and to let the last words that they hear be ones of like love and support, and not being able to say goodbye. Like you don't know what their last words, what their last things are that they heard.
And now outside of somebody's like last
Oh,
moments, what else? No, that was great. Because that answered the question. And now I want to know in every other context, right? What else is important about choice?
I guess I mean, it's a semblance of control and empowerment that like instead of having something ripped away, you have the opportunity to give it away. instead of being blindsided, you have the opportunity to take a breath and then make a choice.
So when you feel like you have no choice, right? When you feel like you have no choice, how is that a problem?
I guess I just want one. Maybe it's not a problem. I want a choice. I want,
Yeah, but so if you don't have one, if you don't have it, how's that a problem?
it just feels very, um, what's the feminine word for emasculated? It feels, see, we're already emasculated, so, we're just, um, it feels very
Demeaning?
like, what's that?
Demeaning?
Demeaning. Yeah. Yeah. It feels very, it's like you're not, it's like you just aren't, yeah, it feels very humiliating. It feels degrading.
Okay. So it makes sense since choice is where you're feeling like you have some semblance of control and empowerment, right? That you would leave somebody before they can leave you. So that you're not blindsided, so that things don't get ripped away from you. So when I say that, what comes up?
I agree with you. That does make sense. Um,
So
I,
there's almost like a third step, right? It goes before you get to the unsafe, you have to have there's the no choice. The having no choice of the outcome, that's what's not safe. That's where the blindsided, the ripped out from underneath you. That's where all of that is coming from. So in your brain, you're like, yeah. That just means eventually it's unsafe. No matter what happens in here, right? You're skipping this middle part about choice. Because you're like, yeah, it feels like there's no choice. So I better, while I have the upper hand, cut my losses because now I have the choice to do it before it gets ripped out from underneath me.
makes sense. I thought about like I have older sisters and like my parents. So like my parents would often say to me, when you're in fourth grade and everybody chooses a band instrument to play for 3 years and then they ignore it for the rest of their life. I wanted to play in the band and they were like, well, your sisters didn't stay with it, so you won't either. And then I was like, okay, well, if not the band, how about dance? I really like dance. Can I take, well, your sisters didn't stay with, this. So you won't either. And it was like the choice was made for me. And like, I found out I found this out a couple of years ago that dad, like when I was, something changed when I was six-ish. And like, I remember playing with dad, using him as a jungle gym and climbing all over him and doing his hair and, things like that. And then when I was 6, he stopped all of that. And I found out later it was because my older sisters hit puberty and he didn't ever want to like make it have any sort of like, like he was touching them inappropriately. So he just kind of stopped doing most affection toward them. And because he stopped that, he couldn't give it to me either, because then he didn't want them to think I was getting something they weren't. So it was just kind of stopped for all of us. And he told me that at some point over wine a couple of years ago, that that was his decision.
Okay. So how did that impact you?
Well, since I didn't know about it as a kid, how it impacted me without knowing that decision, but feeling that decision, it just felt very like I had done something wrong. Like, what did I do that he stopped? That he's not
What did you take it to
like
mean about yourself?
that I had done something wrong and like should like I wanted to say should be alone, but I don't think that's what it was, but maybe I don't know. That's what I was gonna say. So I'm just gonna say it. Not exactly the words, but
Anything else? Anything else you took it to mean about yourself that he just stopped giving you affection?
I think that I wasn't worth it. Like I guess it was just like I never thought I was worth it. He's also a perfectionist, so you were never gonna do anything right anyways. So like that just kind of was another um nail in the coffin. So many death metaphors. So yes.
So earlier, the previous statement of nobody's ever left me isn't quite true. Because even though his presence didn't leave physically, his affection did.
Yeah.
Like the connection, the love, the what made that relationship, right? So because it made you think that you were unworthy, what were your negative emotions?
Um, shame, hurt, um, at, um, I guess like desperation, like desperation to try to win that back, to figure out what I needed to do to be good enough or to be on his radar. Um, mm, I don't know, I'm thinking a whole bunch of other things, but it's all like related and unrelated. So blah. I don't know, there might have been some fear, fear of um I don't know, I've always been kind of afraid of things, not afraid, well, yes, afraid, but afraid of, but like making sure that things were taken care of. So like I wrote a will for all of my stuffed animals in case I died as a child, and I planned my funeral, um and like I went out on my bike, and like mom would be like, well, be careful, don't get into any strange vans, and because there had been a child abduction, I don't know, a couple of years prior, and so that was her way of keeping me safe. And I was like, don't worry, I have my library card. And she was like, well, what good is your library card going to do? And I was like, well, in case they find my body so mangled in a ditch that they can't identify it, you'll know it's me by my library card. And like like I had like plans like this. Um and fire escape plans and burglar proof plans and things like that, which these things never happened to me. So it's just weird that I'm this paranoid as a child. I didn't know about dental identification at the time as a kid. So, library card was the next best thing.
Yeah, the paranoia is really interesting.
Isn't it interesting?
For what purpose were you planning for all of these things?
Safety, to keep others safe. Because if I could get out of the house, if the fire, if the house was burning down or there was a burglar or axe murderer and I could get out, I could then go back in and save other people. Or I could be out and then no one would have to worry about me. I wouldn't be a problem.
And how is it a problem if you were a problem?
People would get hurt.
How specifically would they get hurt?
They could get hurt emotionally, or they could get hurt physically trying to help me,
Okay.
or they could die, or at the very least, they would be inconvenienced, and that might actually be the worst thing ever.
How is being inconvenienced worse than dying?
Well, if you're dead, they're not thinking about it anymore, probably. They're inconvenienced, they can hold a grudge for a very, very long time.
So, what would you take it to mean about yourself if somebody got hurt trying to help you? And at worst, they were inconvenienced and holds a grudge for whatever it was.
Okay, depending on the level of inconvenience, I might just be a little pissed off at them and be like, get over it. But if they
Math.
were if they were this would be the fate worse than death. This is the like, please just let me die, because if somebody else dies on my account, or somebody else is hurt on my account and damaged in some way, that's
What do you
like
think?
I would not make a very good person in the mafia, because if I cared about someone else and then they came after that person, I'd be like, oh my God, no, this is why you don't, no shit, this is why you don't care about other people. So, like, this is why you don't let other people know that you care about other people, because it protects them. I'm seeing why it's a dark space inside.
So, back to my previous question, what do you take it to mean about yourself if you're the cause for all of that?
Oh, what do I take to mean about myself? That's horrible. That's I'm the worst. That's
How specifically?
um demonic comes to mind. Like that's the level of worst. Like, I am just the worst. Like lawful evil, D&D. Yeah, lawful evil, just like I'm a monster.
So, when you're protecting others from yourself, what are you?
Fighting the inevitable.
Okay, what else?
You're you're kicking at the darkness.
Okay, so what kinds of people do that?
Good people.
How specifically are they good?
Mm. They they don't have to fight so hard against their own darkness.
Okay. So, in other words, they're not a monster.
Yeah. They somehow maybe if they had one inside them, they somehow figured out how to quell the monster, how to tame it, how to kill it, how to not have it be there to to damage people despite how much you try not to.
So really what you're ping ponging, is that what you called it? Between is not necessarily alone versus relationships with the unsafe. It's a monster or some semblance of a good person who has their monster under control. So you are fighting with yourself. It's just getting projected out into other people in the way of them leaving. And you think, so the reason why you don't, I'm speculating, right? Just based off of all of this stuff, right? The reason why being alone isn't really this bad thing and you've got used to it and all the things, it's like you're like, nobody has to worry about me. If there's nobody here, nobody has to worry about me. They're safe. But if
Yeah.
they're here, then I have to figure out how to bend over backwards to make sure that every single thing that could possibly happen is taken care of. And I need to be able to make the choice to leave before they can either get hurt or hurt me.
Yeah. But I don't want to be alone.
But you don't want to be alone because your inner child just wants love. It wants to be taken care of. It wants the affection. It wants somebody to protect her.
I want to be chosen.
Yes. Permanently. And you don't want that choice to be made for you. Just like it was all the time because your sisters were older. And so whenever they didn't want something or didn't need something or didn't get something anymore, it was like it just it trickled down to you, right? You're like I want to be, you want to be your own person.
Yeah.
You don't. So the paranoia of, and I'm using paranoia, that was more your word, right? You're like, wow, what I'm paranoid. And like that need to be prepared for every situation.
I have to be all things to all people, and it's fucking tiring to do that.
It is. Because if you're not and they get hurt because you weren't able to take care of yourself, then you're evil, demonic, and a monster. So if you can take care of yourself and you can make it seem like you don't care about others, even though you do, you deeply care about others, but you have to make it seem like you don't because it protects them. And then you're like, I get to be this really great person who like pushes that darkness away, kind of like quiets the monster, and all is good. But then because you're doing that, right, it starts to unconsciously push the people away. So you're like, I just need to leave before they leave me. There's a lot going on in there.
Yeah.
And does that land? Does that resonate? Do you understand all the things and all the things?
That follows. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't realize it ran quite as deep as all that. Like sometimes I'm like, God, you're so hyperbolic and so dramatic. Jeez. But then like that really it just like yeah, sometimes it really is that dark. You know, it does feel that dark.
So do you feel like you have the awareness that you were looking for at the beginning? Or like around the block, or what the
I
problem is?
I wish I had a next step. I know I guess I didn't say that, but like I don't know what to do with kind of the it feels like another tangled necklace that's been stuck in your jewelry, you know, jewelry box for years. And for some reason it's in these knots. Like how it got that way, I don't know. But like you pull it out and you're like, now you need tweezers and like a bright light and, accoutrements to like try to untangle it. And I just wish I had like a next step
Yes,
for what to do with that. So I don't know if you have suggestions or something.
I do. I do. I have lots. So first is what Jessica typed in. You're coming to Evolve next month. So
Oh,
yay.
yes.
Yay.
Yes. Hi, Jess.
So you're coming to Evolve. Whoop, whoop. And you also this month. Oh, geez. Thanks, Kate. Yeah, right. September already. What the heck? This month in like a couple weeks. So that's
Yeah.
going to be a really huge help. I would say, because at Evolve, right, we're focusing on teaching you how to coach and release around these complex equivalents and things like that, and redefining things and shifting things like that. You're going to get a lot of support there. And then if Evolve wasn't on your radar, and right, and if you weren't coming to Evolve, right, and all these things, what could you do? So you always have rapid releases, right? And you have some. So that would be like, if you weren't coming to Evolve, that's where that would be our next step, would be like, all right, now let's go in and figure this out and then do this and then get rid of it. But you're going to do that at Evolve anyway, plus some more stuff. So fun. And
Oh, there's more that I could bring to Evolve. Don't worry about that. So,
and yes, so there's lots that you can do even if you didn't have a rapid release, right? You would want some type of releasing. You would want some type of releasing. Now, let me ask you this. I know Evolve's coming up in like, gosh, a matter of like days.
right.
And do you feel that it would better serve you to go into that having this not there? Because we can.
I mean, I certainly think that, like, so Jess said, would a rapid release be beneficial before Evolve? Like, do, do you think it would be beneficial?
So, okay, so I asked you only
You asked
because I
me and
want to
I
know.
switched it around.
I
Yes.
know. Well, the reason I asked you is because I want to know, is it going to hinder anything? Like, is it gonna hold you back from something? Is it going to keep you from something? Or are you just like, I just need this gone so that I can show up and I can do the things? And you're like, I got all these other things I could bring to Evolve.
Yeah, list.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if doing a rapid release before, which I'd be very willing to make time for, would be. I can reach out to Nick, I guess. Like, I guess,
Well, I'm your
so.
coach, so I would,
Oh,
it would be with me.
oh, how exciting. Okay.
Okay.
Um,
So here, and I also ask because we are so close to Evolve and there are lots of things that come up before the event. I don't necessarily love to do things right before you come to event, because it's kind of like the container we put you in, you've been to activate and you just coach assisted and activate. You know
yes.
the drill. And
Yes.
this does run pretty deep. So my train of thought is, if we do a rapid release before Evolve, what it might do is it might push you down into a C. So then when you get your breakthrough at Evolve, it can bring you back up.
Cool. I was thinking I was already in a C, but sure. Throw me
Oh,
further down. I'm fine with that.
oh, well, the AB cycle is the bouncing back and forth. So
Okay, great. Great. So excited. Okay.
but the good news is you wouldn't be down there very long because then
Right?
you would then go and all the other so that would be kind of my thinking is like if I think about where you would be at in your universal model of change, there's definitely like some back and forth of like I want this and then I want this and then if I try and do this and then this happens and then I try and do this and then this happens, right? There's a lot of this back and
Yeah.
forth.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this might just push you down into your seat, which could be really great for you going into Evolve. So anyway, that's just me externally processing. Let's do it. I'll message you.
Okay, let's do it. We have a plan.
Let's
Yay.
do
Okay,
it.
cool.
Um, yes. Okay. So do you feel like now you have a next step moving forward
I do. Yes, I do.
and you have the awareness, you feel like you kind of got we've explored and discovered a block, a really pretty big one that we're now going to continue exploring.
Yes. Yes. Yes, that is no, that is good because I don't think I realized I knew all of this. I knew all of this goes around the people pleasing, but I did not quite go darker. I didn't go to the darker side of the people pleasing. Oh shit. Yeah.
Yes, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah, I will tell you now. So, for those of you watching this, right, with your coach hat on, I will be going down the paranoia route a lot. It's gonna be a very fun rabbit hole to go down. Um, Even though like I have a pretty good outline for it, right? Even though like, okay, like I know like she's doing the planning for safety and then it's for this like I have like the outline, I kind of see how her brain's doing the problem, but I want to know all the nitty gritty details, all the things and all the things. um yes, so I know we're at time. Sarah, we'll get you taken care of. You have all of the things, and then if you we'll message, so we'll get you in before Evolve. And then I know we're over time, so if you do have to head out, peace out. Love you all. See you next week. And if you have a question, I do want to answer any questions. So just want to make sure. Oh yeah, Leah, let's do another pip on that. I'm like, you do a rapid release, you do a rapid release, everybody do a rapid
Everybody
release.
gets a reference.
Okay. All right, everybody. Well, have great a great week. Ilka, details on Evolve. Evolve starts on September 16th. We go the 16th through the 26th. And if you come in person, we have a bonus day on the 27th. It's going to be so fun. And then if you want more details about where like how to sign up for it and all that stuff, you can email Jessica and Nick and we can talk. All right, everybody. I will see you all later. Bye. Thanks for letting me dig in your brain, Sarah. I enjoyed it. I'll message you.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye. Bye, everybody.